Welcome down the rabbit hole, friends. For the past several years, Meri Brown has built a small fortune and a large following by working for a multi-level marketing company called LulaRoe. Did you know that LulaRoe is run by one of the most newly wealthy and powerful Mormon families in all of the United States? Mormons have flocked to the company, both as sellers and customers, over the past decade. But recently, LulaRoe and its founders are in some hot water as a new documentary was released on Amazon a couple of years ago called LulaRich. Just so you're aware, it's actually called LulaRoe, but I have a really hard time with that, and I constantly slip back into the roux of it all. Either way, I need to show you one of the funniest clips from Sister Wives that has not aged well, involving Meri and her dislike of leggings.
It was great. No, it was not. Shirt was good. No. Pants were bad. No. Shirt, leggings. No. Shirts, great. Well, in the first place, I'm not going to wear leggings as, like, pants. No, like some people do. I can't do that. And that shirt, that style, completely wrong. Oh, it's so accentuated my hips, and they do not need accentuated.
If you're not familiar with LulaRoe, here's a quick breakdown. Deanne Brady and Mark Stidham founded LulaRoe in 2013, and they claim that they did it to create simple and affordable fashion for women, men, and children, while offering consultants the opportunity to become independent business owners. There's a whole story on LulaRoe's website about how the company started, and of course, it has to do with Deanne being a stay-at-home mom. Her child asked her to make a custom skirt for her. She made it, everyone loved it, and she started selling it, and it was wildly successful. But something that's not featured on their website is where Deanne and Mark come from. They both come from Mormon entrepreneurial families. Deanne's great-grandfather, William Startup, opened his first candy business in England in the 1800s, and in 1895, he started the first filled candy bar after moving to Utah. The Startup Candy Company is still open in Utah today. Deanne's dad, Albert Startup, was the great-grandson of Hyrum Smith, who's the older brother of the prophet Joseph Smith from the Mormon Church. Now, Deanne's mother, Maureen, founded the American Family and Femininity Institute in 1945, and its goal was to 100% reinforce the idea that women belonged in the home. Deanne's mother, Maureen, published a book called The Secret Power of Femininity in 1969. And this book was pretty crazy. Its advice included that women should stand before a mirror in the privacy of their home and say to themselves, "I am a helpless woman at the mercy of you big, strong men," to help them remember their place in the world.
What happened to LulaRoe? LulaRoe. LulaRoe is a women's multi-level marketing clothing company that was founded in 2012. So what happened? Well, since they were a multi-level marketing company, what this meant is they would recruit members or distributors to sell their product on their behalf. This is how LulaRoe grew, but it was really close to a pyramid scheme, even from the start. Okay, so how did that come into play? Well, with LulaRoe, they really made money two different ways. Number one was recruiting. This was bringing on people that could then become members to then sell LulaRoe product. Oh, so like those messages that people send you asking if you want to make six figures from home. Yes, exactly like this. And this was a huge moneymaker for them because it would cost a recruiter or a member $5,000 to $15,000 to get involved into LulaRoe. So LulaRoe began pushing this really hard. Okay, got it. Then the second way they made money was actually selling their products. So this would be the member selling a single pair of leggings or a top or something like that. So what happened next? Well, like I mentioned, LulaRoe really pushed recruitment, and this is really a telltale sign and a big red flag to the fact that this is being treated more like a pyramid scheme rather than a proper MLM. So how exactly did the pyramid fall? Well, LulaRoe started growing really quickly. They started recruiting a bunch of women, and some women report being pressured into joining and really doing so at any means necessary, including racking up tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt.
Girl alert! This is me and Deanne. I met her at a local training she came to. Of course, I had to get a picture with her. But guys, look at us. Look at us in all our LulaRoe glory. Also, me and my Lula room, you can see that was a lot of inventory. That was probably the peak, the most inventory I ever had at one time. But like I said, all of that gone down to 3 pieces at the very end. And there's a lot of questions as to why I left. Why did I leave LulaRoe? And there's a couple reasons, and I'll tell you why. The number one reason that I left is that it was all too little, too late. I was in the company to buy clothes and sell clothes. I was never in the company to build a team. I was never looking to get a bonus check. Literally just wanted to sell clothes to people.
Yikes. Obviously, this was accompanied by big promises of becoming a millionaire, private jets, cruise vacations, and more, but ultimately none of these promises ended up being fulfilled in the long run. So what happened next? One big issue was their refund and return policy. They abruptly changed this in 2017, and it went from being a 100% guarantee refund and return to instead being something that was extremely strict and nearly impossible to get a refund for. This meant that LulaRoe members were losing tens of thousands of dollars. And to pour salt into the wound, their quality ended up taking a nosedive as well. There were reports of women receiving clothing that was damp, moldy, tearing easily, and just not having the quality that you would expect for that type of product.
So a couple of years ago, Amazon made a documentary in which the producers exposed what had been going on with LulaRoe. They specifically focused on telling the story of several consultants who ended up suing the company. But in that documentary, we got a really hardcore look at the toxic culture of positivity and ideas of femininity that were floating around among the consultants, coming directly from Deanne Brady. Right, so Deanne and the culture she created in her company, LulaRoe, really fed on the idea that they were recruiting homemakers to have a profitable home-based company in which their families could be involved. They could do it on the weekends and still be the wife and mother Deanne claims she believed all women should be, available and ready to be there for her husband and children at every beck and call.
LulaRoe is marketed towards conservative Christian women who marry early and have kids early, but still want to have a successful career where they make a lot of money.
So companies like this, especially LulaRoe, but as well as like Scentsy and so many of these other companies, really go after that very particular demographic. A lot of people outside of the white evangelical community do not understand the intense pressure that these women feel to be a stay-at-home mother, as well as have a beautifully furnished home, perfectly dressed all the time. The lives that they are being told they have to live in order to be good Christians are expensive. And that is exactly what the people who start these MLM schemes know and intentionally exploit.
It's true that LulaRoe is full of stay-at-home Christian Mormon mothers and families. They sell the clothes and they buy the clothes. It kind of works well in certain ways, especially for the people at the very top, like Deanne. Because the groupthink you might find in Meri's AUB church goes along well with the groupthink of LulaRoe. A woman like Meri is really LulaRoe's prime target. She was struggling in emotional and financial ways, but she wanted with all of her heart to be the best mom and wife because that's what her church told her she should be. Meri also would have really liked the idea of having full control of her own business apart from the other sister wives and Cody and being able to run it in her own way. Allegedly, some estimates are putting Meri's income from LulaRoe at around $400,000 per year at her highest. But one big issue targeted in the LulaRich documentary was Deanne's push of her own personal preferences onto the highest grossing consultants around her. This included, like, when Deanne got the gastric sleeve and lost a bunch of weight, she started recruiting people to go to her doctor down in Mexico and have it done as well. All of a sudden, she started making a lot of comments about how people should try to lose weight. Many consultants spoke out and said that they felt pressured and uncomfortable about Deanne's new obsession. Other consultants spoke out heavily about Deanne's pressures when it came to their marriages and family. Deanne had strong ideas about what a nuclear family should look like. Allegedly, she thought a woman should do everything she could to please her husband and keep him happy. When marriages disintegrated for the women around her, many of them said they felt like she treated them badly and made them feel like they had lost worth in her eyes.
Okay, just right off the top, What is the real story of LulaRoe?
Everybody! It is Terrific Tuesday, and I'm going to show you an amazing new print that we got at LulaRoe. These are the Layla Mandarin leggings, and as you can see, they go perfect with everything. You have to get the girls to buy this print. You guys, today I want to talk about how to take people's money. Every day, you guys get to wake up and choose what you want to do and how you're going to strive to fulfill your own dreams. You are the girl boss of your business. You are the boss of your destiny. You are the boss of what you choose to do. There is no more excuses. We have to get these girls to pay the $10K and sign up for LulaRoe. If they are on the fence, tell them they have the opportunity to become a Tijuana skinny and get the gastric sleeve paid for by LulaRoe. If they can't afford it, tell them to sell their breast milk. I can't afford it. Sell your fertility. You could live on the streets. Hell, I don't care. They should ask their husbands for the money. Ladies, if you pleasure your husband for 5 minutes a day on your knees, he will buy you whatever you want. That's how my mind works. I am on a mission to better people's lives, and no is never an answer.
Deanne also pushed all of the consultants to recruit many people from their families, even their husbands, sisters, brothers. She wanted men to be involved as well. She would actually specifically say, make sure you let your man be the knight in shining armor when he wants to be. So consultants complained that she pushed them to have their husbands leave their regular jobs and work the LulaRoe business with their wives. It's kind of weird, but one of the consultants put it this way. It's like Deanne knew if my husband left his job, we would be fully dependent on LulaRoe. So when Meri came into LulaRoe, they were living in Vegas, and my sister wives' closet, Robin's pet project, was failing. Her daughter, Leon, needed to go off to school, and you could tell Meri was like, I'm gonna find a way to make money. She entered LulaRoe, and the show portrayed it like, yeah, she started making some money, but then she decided she wanted to buy this very special house in Utah. It's the house of her grandparents, which was sold many, many years ago, and she wanted to buy it back and have it for herself and her mom. On the show, she makes a big deal about asking her sister wives and Cody to lend her the money for the down payment. And basically, everybody's like, we don't have money for that right now, Meri. Meri gets really upset, cries, kind of throws a fit about it, and says, I'll go back to my business and hustle to make the money for myself. And allegedly, she does. On the show, it's portrayed like Meri was able to come up with the money herself with her business. She bought this big, beautiful house and was able to turn it into a bed and breakfast and give her mom a room to stay in there. It was a huge triumph for her. And I think most of us watching the show were like thinking to ourselves, what a dream to be able to buy an old family home and support your mom so that she could live there and even run a bed and breakfast. It looked like Meri was really starting to make it work financially without the help of Cody and her sister wives. So they sometimes mention Meri's business on the show, but they never call it by name. And it seems as though there's some kind of contract deal where she's not supposed to talk about it on Sister Wives. But she has her own Facebook group and she goes on Instagram all the time. She has a ton of lives that she does where people buy clothing from her.
I walk into the party, my friends are all behind me. They earn me all the freebies because the clothes are comfy. So which of the prints will they choose? All you do is add shoes, and then you have an outfit to rock all through the night with.
She also does something really interesting. She will have other consultants pay her, allegedly, to come and kind of like hawk their clothing for them. So she'll go on their lives and try to sell some of their prints for them.
All is 6'8". There's no such thing as a 3'6". I'm 5'8.5", Donna. Stephanie, the pants are 52. Do we get all the questions for a second so I can continue on? Have your size. I am sorry. It probably got sold another day. Okay, so Chris, panda is my claim word. You don't have to buy them, Judy, if they're too high for you, okay? I don't force anybody to buy because that would be rude of me. Panda is a claim word. There's no item called panda. Yes. Block. Listen, you're not going to put a panda in is a promo code. You're not going to look for panda on the website. There's no discount code, Summer. I'm not giving Summer, Cheryl. The clothes you wear always look too tight and too small. Wow. Okay. You're so cute and a little ray of sunshine. Thank you for sharing. Hey, you have all the control. I don't. Teresa, here's this thing, and it's called I Like Jackets That Are Open. Look. There it is. Listen, some people like big boobs anyway.
And of course, we slowly started to see that some of the other wives and the children started entering the business as well. For a little while, it looked like Christine was getting involved in LulaRoe, but for sure, Madison and Mykelti joined. We all know that Madison had some kind of a falling out with Meri, and I've often wondered if it wasn't about the business of LulaRoe, but I don't have all the details about that. Madison, as far as I know, left LulaRoe and now works for a pink drink company. But Mykelti is heavily entrenched in LulaRoe. She also has her own Facebook group and Instagram page, and she does lives like crazy, seemingly making all the income for her, Tony, and her kids. From what I understand, Tony has become a stay-at-home father. I don't want to knock all of this. It's amazing that potentially Meri and other people in her family have been able to climb the heights of the MLM pyramid and make a lot of money for themselves. That's awesome. But the reality is, in a company like this, there are very few people who can make that kind of money. And whether or not Meri or Mykelti realize it, having your own TV show is a big part of the reason why you've been successful. So the point of all of this is to say that on the back streets of LulaRoe Reddit pages and Facebook pages of consultants that have left or are thinking about leaving, everyone is saying that, of course, the culture at LulaRoe contributed to Meri feeling like she had to stay with Cody and stay with her family to keep up appearances. Beyond the Sister Wives show, her marketability as a top seller and trainer in that company does hinge on her public persona. One of the reasons that she is so popular and has done so well, I'm sure she's worked hard as well. She does a lot of live streams to sell her goods, but her notoriety as a TL star is why so many people know about her and join her groups, and then therefore choose to buy their LulaRoe products from her when they could buy from so many other consultants.
I'm the boss. I own a clothing company. You are the boss of your business, and you're the boss of your destiny and the boss of what you choose to do.
LulaRoe, what in the hell? LulaRoe, what is that?
Deanne's whole paradigm of wanting all of the consultants to be wholesome, family-loving women would rub up against everything that's happened with Meri so far. For example, even her catfishing scandal kind of got pushed under the rug when Cody, her sister wives, and her children all welcomed her back publicly on the show. If you watch any of Deanne's live streams or company building videos, she spends a lot of time just kind of pushing a very toxic positivity where you don't talk about problems. She really puts down a victim mentality. She's like, anybody who looks to their past and says my parents did this to me or someone did that to me and that's why I have this issue or this trauma now, that's a person who's getting in their own way of succeeding.
What you're going to do is sit here and watch me until I get to everything I have.
So secondhand embarrassment is like so strong when I watch Meri. Here's the thing. I own a small business and I go live frequently and sell things. In a million years, I would never talk to my customers like that. You're gonna just wait until I get to it. No, I'm not gonna wait till I get to it because I'm gonna go find somebody else that's like way nicer to shop from. How is she still a top seller for LulaRoe? Actually, I'll answer that question because ain't nobody selling LulaRoe. So she is, of course, the top seller. My God.
Stop focusing on the past. Focus on here and now. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Big hustle culture. And bring that bacon home. I've even seen some posts talking about Mykelti. Mykelti, as you know, recently did a live stream with Tony in which she was fairly positive about the Sister Wives season 17 tell-all, in which her dad and her many moms are kind of fighting amongst themselves. She made a lot of excuses for everything that happened, and she really tried to fall on the most taking the most positive look at everybody's point of view. And this is very indicative of what LulaRoe teaches its consultants. I would imagine that Mykelti has to be very careful what she says and does because, of course, she doesn't want to lose the income from her own LulaRoe business. Mykelti, more than any of the other family members, I have seen her before she gave birth to the twins really hustling when it comes to going on other consultants' lives and helping them sell all of their inventory. She clearly does well and feels comfortable in front of a Facebook live camera. Tony will sometimes go on the lives with her and help her out, but it's clear to me that for Meri, Mykelti, and probably some other people in that family, the LulaRoe business is a way out of the system that they've been brought up in that can lead to living in destitute types of situations. Even though there are many people who don't make any money in companies like LulaRoe, there are definitely several, especially at the top, who make plenty of money. And it's clear that Meri and likely Mykelti happen to fall into that bracket. With name recognition, it's completely possible to bring in more and more consultants underneath you and to sell large amounts of product to people, especially in your Mormon community, who are already aware of the brand and use it extensively.
You don't have to buy an angel, a tulip. Okay, people who want to buy high quality items will though. Okay, so hey, Alita Gibbons, I'm gonna go ahead and release you from right here so you don't have to watch me and you can go over to Amazon. Okay, bye.
Although we've all been acting like Meri is just really obsessed with Cody and that's why she sticks around, word on the street is that it's more like Meri just wants to keep up appearances, that she's still married, conforming to her Mormon and AUB values as much as possible, and that she was successful as a wife and mother. This is her persona in the LulaRoe world. People that follow her, some of them follow her because of her success following some of the rules of the Mormon church. And I do know that the AUB and polygamy are separate from Mormonism, but they do have the same basis. And lots of people who are involved in LulaRoe and follow Meri are part of the mainstream Mormon church. So it would absolutely not surprise me if not only the people around Meri, but the people at the very top, like Deanne, directly spoke to her and counseled her. As was stated in the documentary Deanne has done with other women, she will counsel them to do everything they can to keep their families together, work hard, and make LulaRoe as much money as possible. I'm still going down this rabbit hole, keeping my eyes open in lots of LulaRoe chat rooms, Reddit pages, wondering what people are going to have to say about Meri's business now that all of this has come out. As we all know, Meri is also selling retreats at her B&B, and most of those spots allegedly have been filled by people who work for LulaRoe. The majority of her social media is also full of pictures of her with her quote-unquote friends, but they are people that work with her in the business. That's something that happens to a lot of people in multi-level marketing pyramids. They surround themselves entirely by people in their business. They talk each other up and push each other to work hard and stay with the model. So it's sort of like Meri moved from one CULT to another, more lucrative CULT. Thanks so much for joining me down the rabbit hole tonight. I hope you'll join me again soon, and we'll chat more about what's going on with Meri and LulaRoe.